A Knight's Tale came out in 2001 and ran 2 hours, 13 minutes. 15-year-old Oz had such a fun time watching this with the family. And that's why this is the retro review for this release this time, is because so last year I watched one of my mom's favorite movies in remembrance of her birthday. And this time, I popped on a movie that the whole family had a good time watching because, we miss her, and it's always painful to be, reminded, not even reminded, but, to have the times come up where things are remembered, bad things, sad things. And so I tried to, have more positive stuff happen. And so that's why I popped on this fun film that, the whole family enjoyed. Alan Tudyk is in disbelief of the Knight, the being dead, the Knight that he and his crew work with for. The crazy thing is, when I was younger, when we all watched this together, the death of the Knight, it was treated as the ha-ha that they act like it is. Oh, the stench of death and all that. But man, when you've known close, when you've been close to people that are no longer with us, it's not nearly as funny as it once was. And the disbelief that the team has, and it's understandable. You just don't want to. You don't want to believe that somebody is gone, and I think they call that bargaining when it's or denial, maybe, in the 5 stages of grief. The idea that you know what the facts are, but you're unwilling to adhere to the truth. And anyway, becoming kind of a downer. Thankfully, Queen's "We Will Rock You" starts playing, and it brings up the mood. Man, I miss Mom so much. And Heath Ledger saying, "I've waited my whole life for this moment, and I feel that. I know your pain of feeling as though you're more than what the world sees you as." Heath, or in this case William, and his team they're just such entertaining, fun. They're just money. It's big time good stuff. We do the "We Can Be Champions" bit, and I'm behind the hero, William, wanting to spend their earnings, their winnings, on becoming or pretending to be nobles, as they call them, the upper class. And that's the thing, is like, William he's just my kind of guy, a person who is willing to work hard, and we get a great training montage, which, that's just a lost art these days. The idea of the great montage, and I enjoy it so much because it's informative, it's fun, and yeah, it's just a way to show a passage of time. And also what happens during said passage of time. Enter Paul Bettany. He's beaten, he's filthy, and he's naked. And also he's a writer, so he speaks poetically about things that are unpleasant. The writer, Geoffrey Chaucer, that being Paul Bettany's character, he doesn't believe William when he says that his name is Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein. And when he calls him out on basically being a bad storyteller, Ulrich pulls a knife and tries to stop the smart mouth of the writer. Then they negotiate a partnership, which is, good for both sides, both Ulrich and Geoffrey. The funny thing is, Paul Bettany and Alan Tudyk's characters are always at odds. They just don't see eye to eye. And Sir Ulrich is in the tournament, but before the fight starts, William sees a pretty princess And William, or Ulrich in this case, he goes to try and, learn her name and understand who she is, and he's just unable to keep up with her. He didn't even notice that while trying to hang out with the princess that he followed her into a church while riding on the back of his horse. The preacher dude, the priest or whatever, father, whoever, he both scolds Ulrich but also tells the princess that she needs to pray that her looks fade because it's such a curse. And it's funny because she plays into it. I think that she even convinces the guy that she believes that, oh God, why did you curse me with this face? If it wasn't clear before when we met the herald, Jeffrey, that he had a problem since he showed up beaten, filthy, and naked, it gets revealed that he has a gambling problem when the people he owes money to come up to the whole team, William and crew, and they try to extort him because they believe the lie that William is of noble descent. Alan Tudyk loses his mind when he finds out that Paul Bettany owes these bad guys money, and he just tries to go at him. It's really fun. Ulrich agrees to pay Jeffrey's debts, but first he must win a sword fight. Roland, his right-hand man, and the herald, they all watch on as Heath wins. William wins the fight. It's well done, and this average man is able to take down all of these so-called betters. Ulrich's armor is messed up, and he is smart and able to manipulate a lady blacksmith into helping him because he doesn't have the money yet since he hasn't won, and he goes to all these blacksmiths and none of them want to help him, and so they say, well, try the lass, and so he says, oh, they told me not to even talk to you. She says, because I'm a lady? And he said, no, because you're bad at this. And so she proves to him that that she's not bad at it and that she can help him. And so it's fun and smart. I love seeing this bad dude, Count Adhemar. He's so great at the villainousness. He hangs out with Jocelyn, the princess that Ulrich is falling for. And Ulrich gets roasted by Adhemar. It's so much fun because he basically makes fun of his old armor, says his granddad can wear his out in public and such. Jeffrey, the herald, Geoffrey Chaucer, the writer, he does a great ring introduction before the joust. Thank you, I'll be here all week. The next day, Count Adhemar takes on Sir Ulrich, but before they can joust, it is revealed by the princess's little servant helper girl that the princess's name is Jocelyn. Count Adhemar got a piece of the lance in him. Adhemar then looks at his lance before the third round. This time, Count Adhemar takes Sir William's helmet off of his head with the blow that hits him. This leads to a wonderful father-son flashback moment where William remembers a time when his dad told him that a man can change his stars, which basically was just this movie's way of saying you aren't stuck in the place where you began, which I love that idea, the concept of advancing forward, getting better, improving. Now, I understand that in this actual time there was no real meritocracy where you can do better, advance, and change, but the idea that they are acknowledging that is the way to go, I'm all for that. Count Adhemar wins the tournament by beating William at the joust, and at this point, William is not happy. He's like, I am either tournament champion or I'm nothing. Jocelyn wants to know what Sir Ulrich will be wearing to the banquet. So Roland, he rattles off a description to Jocelyn's friend, and it basically he's just describing to her the tent that he's looking at because they turned that into a tunic for Ulrich to wear to the party. Everything is just so awkward when Ulrich is talking to Jocelyn. He said that she reminds him of the Bible, and it's fun to see the interplay between these characters. At the banquet, Adamar tries to embarrass William by having him, well, encouraging him to show off a dance from his native Liechtenstein. But Sir Ulrich, William, the Heath Ledger character, he's so awkward and doesn't know what to do. But Jocelyn, who finds him, I don't know, intriguing, is able to help guide him through this dinner of nobles and keep everything on track and keep him from looking foolish, which is very nice of her. But let's be honest, if he wasn't a good man, she probably would have enjoyed watching Adamar be bad to him, right? I mean, I think it's due to his personality is what keeps her from being more into Adamar. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it. I really like Kate the blacksmith. She made Sir Ulrich new lightweight armor that he doubts until she has him test it, and he's like, oh, I didn't feel a thing. She did great work. The future King of England competes with Sir Ulrich. The match is a draw, and it isn't... so everybody who competes against the prince withdraws, and they surrender, they forfeit. But I love this scene where Sir Ulrich or William, he's like, well, I mean, I'm pretending to be somebody I'm not, and he's pretending to be somebody he's not, which means he must want to fight, not fight, but like compete. And so why would I quit when the future king doesn't want to quit? And so I just like that about his character. After the competition where Adamar drops out and the king, or the future king, the prince, so William wins because the prince he got hurt and he has to withdraw. But Sir Ulrich doesn't feel like a winner, or William doesn't feel like a winner when he doesn't beat Adamar. And so Jocelyn wants to party more, and that she and Ulrich get into a fight because, all he wants to do is beat his adversary and not just party it up. Whether it's your first time here or you're a regular here at Mr. Super Oz, I just want to thank you for tuning in to the channel. It exists because I, Oz, from the channel Mr. Super Oz, I wrote a 68-page graphic novel called Everlasting Survivors. Volume 1 is called All Day Long. If you follow the link in the description of this video, you can get yourself hats, shirts, posters, all kinds of fun things. But most importantly, you can get the story itself. And the more people that pick up the story, the greater the chances are that there can be continued adventures with these heroes. If you could, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment, enjoy. During the verbal altercation between Jocelyn and Sir Ulrich, William, whatever you want to call Heath Ledger's character, she makes fun of how that he only cares about his horse and the stick, and Alan Tudyk corrects Jocelyn and says, "Stick, it's called a lance." It's so fun. While later, Ulrich wants Geoffrey to write a letter. A while later, Geoffrey is trying to write a letter for Ulrich to basically apologize to Jocelyn for the misunderstanding, the not seeing eye to eye, the argument. But the best part is all of the team eventually end up contributing to the letter. Roland, Kate, Walt, all of them end up helping, and it really shows off the value of this family dynamic, this friendship that is so valuable. It rocks, and I hope that, the hope that guides me is how the letter ends, and I like how that we end on hope, because hope is very much a theme of the William character. He believes in himself, but he also has been raised with the hope that he can do better than his placement that he started in, and I really like that. Through the day and especially the night, what is it? Walt, give it to me. So Walt doesn't have to, but he does give his friend a kiss, and Sir Ulrich, Sir William Heath Ledger, at first he's upset with Walt for kissing him until he realizes that by Walt kissing him, it means that's the favor, the gift that Jocelyn gave to him to bestow upon his friend. And it's funny, the expression changes on William's face. At a tournament in France, Jeffrey is getting that old itch that the gambler fights to keep at bay, the itch to gamble, and he convinces the whole team to get on board betting on Sir Ulrich, because every tournament he's been in, he's been winning because Count Adhemar has been called away to war. And Ulrich makes a huge mistake telling Jocelyn that he will do what he makes the mistake of telling her that he'll win the tournament for her. She hates that. Every night in every tournament tells her that he'll win it for her in her name. But she believes that winning proves nothing. And when Jocelyn tells William that winning proves nothing, he says, "How may I prove my love to you?" And she says, "To prove your love, you must do your worst." And once again, we have a great back and forth verbal confrontation between the two characters, because her philosophy and his philosophy just don't gel at this point. Do your worst instead of winning. Act against your nature. What is your answer? And he says, "I will not lose." She says, "Then you do not love me." And I find it very interesting, because I see her perspective where, if all you're doing is what you would normally already do, then what does it prove? But I see his perspective when it's like, what does losing prove? Because, that part, it's easy to get beaten by others, especially when you don't even try. And so Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein is just taking a beating. His whole team says, "What are you doing?" He said, "Losing." They said, "I don't understand." He says, "Me neither." Or "Neither do I think is his actual verbiage, is "neither do I," when they say, "I don't understand." And we get more amazing montages, because this is the era of the great edit. I'll call it the era of the great edit. This is what modern movies are missing, is the ability to tell story without dragging out. Oh, it's my 4-hour, my 8-hour, my Zack Snyder cut of watching the aliens invade, because you can only do something if it's really long. No, you can do great work at a quick pace and tell a good story. Speaking of telling a good story, my lady says, "If you love her, you will win this tournament." And Jeffrey says to William, "Ah, there she is, your lady love." And William says, "Oh, how I hate her." William goes on to win big, and he even keeps a big winning streak as we go to other tournaments. In a private setting, Jocelyn says, "I've heard, Sir Ulrich, your people call you William." She then says, "Your name means nothing as long as I can call you my own." And he says, "I am yours." I find the dynamic between these two characters fun, because of the broad nature of the back and forth way that they go. And then later on, and I'm going to jump ahead a little, later on they have another disagreement, and William says to Jocelyn that she speaks of what she does not know, which I feel like is very befitting of their relationship. None of the heroes have been home in a long time. William hasn't been to England in 12 years. This causes another flashback when William's father took him to work with the knight, the one who ended up dying at the start of the movie. And in his younger days, in his alive days, we'll say, the knight is such a good man. William, he hugs his father goodbye, and it's emotional stuff. And he asks, "Father, how will I ever find my way home?" And he says, "Just follow your feet." And it's so well done. The team is home in London, and you could say that the boys are back in town because that song is playing behind them. And that's another thing about this entire medieval story, is that it has modern music playing throughout, whether it's Queen, We Will Rock You, or The Boys Are Back in Town, or, I mean, it ends with AC/DC, but the fact is that the blending of the eras makes this thing extra fun because, you know, if it was just bagpipes and Pied Pipers and whatnot, it would not be the same level of excitement, I feel like. It's so great having the heroes home. William even sees himself in a kid in the crowd, and that in and of itself is very fun. When we get to the stadium where this tournament is taking place, I believe it's the best looking venue throughout the entire film, and that's good because Count Adhemar is back from the war, and he and William are still at odds over Jocelyn. Count Adhemar has begun negotiating with Jocelyn's father. He plans to make her his bride, even though he knows that William has been cavorting with his future wife. In his mind, at least, he thinks that by taking her from William, or Sir Ulrich of Liechtenstein, as he knows him as, it'll make this win even more sweet for Count Adhemar. And it really does get into William's head. I think that this could be one of the things that causes William to make his fatal mistake. After the first day of the tournament, he goes home to what they call it, like, not poor town, but basically the poor side of town, you know. And William tells a little girl that he came from this part of town, and he tells a story about his father, and the girl's like, "Oh, I know him, John Thatcher," and William is so excited that he asked the girl to take him there. And the thing is that John Thatcher is alive, but he's also blind. And William makes mistake too when he goes to see his father, and it's a beautiful reunion, but the problem is Adhemar had followed William, or Sir Ulrich. I guess I might as well just call him William Thatcher now. And Adhemar follows William, and there is no such thing as a Sir Ulrich. And this is all that Adhemar needed to get the win in the tournament, because now that he can show that he's basically a liar and not a noble. The next day, Jocelyn and Geoffrey tell William that he's about to be arrested, because at first William is happy. He loves that he got to see his father. He's excited because he knows that he's in the finals with Adhemar, but when he finds out that he's about to be arrested, he doesn't want to run. William is the only one who wants to stay and face it. Jocelyn wants him to go just to keep him safe, and she's hurting so badly. Everyone, the whole team, they tell William to run, but he says, "I am a knight. All good things must come to an end. Let's end this one together," is the way that the team treat William, as they all go with him to be, in William's mind, to go to the final fight, but in reality to go get arrested. And Adhemar comes to William when he's in prison, and he's there basically just to gloat, like to brag about how, oh, I'm better, I'm smarter, I'm everything. But he doesn't just gloat, he also assaults William while he is bound, and it's so cheap. William is then placed on display out in, I think they're called stocks, for the whole town to treat him badly. And his team tries to defend him, but they're pelted with a bunch of trash and old food until the prince, the future king, arrives. And the whole town, they go silent. The prince frees William, and then he does what needed to be done. And the prince knights William. He says that my word is uncontestable, and he dubs William Thatcher Sir William. Rise, Sir William. Do you joust? Are you fit to compete? And then William says, I am. And it's such a powerful scene of showing what standing up for what you believe in can get you, because had William not jousted with the prince, when that's all the prince wanted was to have the competition, he would have not gotten here. And it's funny because they were both, hiding themselves or lying about who they were. And it's only once the truth came out that it all worked out. Adhemar now has to have that final fight with William, but he is a no good, rotten, dirty heel, so he cheats. And the lances are supposed to be blunted so they don't stab people, but he makes his blunted end weakened, and so in the first round of the 3-round joust, the lance gets stuck or pierces the armor and it hurts William. In the second round, he can't breathe, so he takes his armor off, and he loses twice in a row. So this final round is the big one. And William's also taken aback because Jocelyn's not in the crowd until the third and final round, when Jeffrey tells William that Jocelyn is here and she brought your father. And so when Jeffrey realizes he never got to do his ring introduction, he kills some time and introduces one of your own, Sir William Thatcher, as to give the team time to strap the lance to William's arm, because he's so weak he can't even hold it. But he's motivated now to prove to his dad that he is a knight, and to prove to his love interest that he's worth loving. And so it's a spectacular finish to a fun movie. I mean, it's very emotional, ups and downs, great comedy, great everything. But yeah, it's a 6 out of 5 stars from me. And it's just crazy how things change when you have life experience, because like I said, 15-year-old me liked it, but much older me, man, it hits different when you can understand loss. Well, and also understand, fighting for something. And so, yeah, thank you for tuning in, and come back all week. Enjoy.